time now to get interactive, and Aisha will be taking us through all that. Welcome once again, Aisha.
I must say I love your pink shirt.
You do.
It looks really good on you.
Thank you very much.
And that's why probably you're not lonely today. So it's time now to take your views, comments, and suggestions on the most interactive segment on Joy News Prime. Now get your phones, tablets, and all the gadgets, because we're about to begin the most interesting conversation in Ghana around this time. So don't miss out. Join the discussion on facebook.com/joynewsontv, on twitter.com@joynewsontv, and on WhatsApp. The number is 0560-800,000. The number again is 0560-800,000. Please send your name and location, and please don't call. So let's get started. The saying that nurses are part of us becomes pronounced whenever we find ourselves under the weather and land in the hospital. Now, nurses do everything for us. But wait, the kind of treatment you get depends on the type of nurse you meet. Sometimes you meet an extremely nice person, and another time it's the direct opposite, even at the same hospital. And you keep wondering how some of these things happen. Well, no matter what the situation may be, I'm sure you've had your best and worst times with nurses. We asked you to share that experience with us, and this is what you said.
My worst experience with a nurse was when I needed attention. She told me to wait, and all I could see was she was busy chatting with other people when I was also waiting, thinking she would come back and get back to me, but she was still chatting with other people. And my best experience with a nurse was when I remember by then I was an asthmatic patient, so I was actually, my mom brought me to the hospital and she took me in without even wasting my time, checked me up, brought a doctor, made sure I was okay, and they gave me some food to also eat to feel better.
With my best experience with the nurse, I remember once going to a clinic which I was very weak, but how the nurse treated me before they put on the drip, and I was very happy with them. And sometimes when you finish, how they pamper you, as in, though you are grown up, but the nurses try to pamper you some way that at least you feel happy being there. Yeah. But the worst part is sometimes there was one other nurse too somewhere else, which I don't want to mention the name of the clinic though. Once to just put a drip was also a very big problem, and they use this kind of needles to just try to insert the drip, but she try this way and that, it's very painful, but she doesn't get the drip. But other nurses will just come within one attempt and it works. So
I was very ill with malaria and I was taken to the hospital. When I went to the hospital, the nurses treated me very well. They were good, attending to me, and all the services they rendered to me. I would say that was the best service I had ever had from a nurse. But the worst is, I think sometime 2 years ago, I was taken to the hospital. I think, I don't want to mention the hospital's name because of security reasons and all those stuff. And I was sitting there, I was very, very weak. I couldn't even walk. I was sitting in a wheelchair because I was very seriously ill. And the nurses were just passing by, going about, doing their own stuff. People were sitting in the line, like no one of us was attended to.
I had, on one occasion, to go to Ridge Hospital, the ENT clinic, for my ear, and I think it was a very good procedure. They were able to see to me on time.
Hey, interesting. Hold your gun. Oh. Hold on. But you see, it's not as if some nurses are so intolerant that they tend to be a bit unfriendly to some patients. So some of you are too worrisome. And so when the nurse gets it up to here, they tend to explode. Remember, they see and absorb some of the things you and I cannot stand. So the least provocation gets some of them to go wild. Well, it's always a bad situation. I'm sure it's not always a bad situation because the nurses have also had some sweet moments with patients. So they shared with us too.
My best experience was when I started nursing. I was given a patient to care for as individual. But to God be the glory, I was able to care for the patient to go home. And then after some days, I saw the patient. I was very happy that I've been able to take care of a patient. So I was very happy and proud to be a nurse and then to save a person's life. My worst experience was with a patient's relative. Like, there was a little misunderstanding, and then, we human beings, we sometimes find it difficult when you come to people and their jobs. So the relative was very difficult, trying not to compromise with us, taking care of the patient. That was the worst part of me dealing with the patient. And then also seeing the patient die on my first day on the ward. In fact, I was very sad, and that was the worst parts of nursing that I've ever
cared for a patient, and she was able she was able to recover, and she was discharged. So I was indeed very happy. My worst experience was when a relative came in to visit, and the time for visiting wasn't due. So he wasn't so happy. I had to send him back out until he waits for the visiting time. He wasn't so happy with that.
Some are there when you treat them or when you help them for things, they appreciate, and mostly some doesn't appreciate, and some just because they have the perception that nurses are insulting people or nurses are harsh on people. So because of that, some people doesn't just appreciate. So no matter what you've done to them, they will still not appreciate. And some will even like to go ahead and report you and insult you. Some can just even insult you in front of you.
So Israel, you see the kind of troubles nurses go through. What was your worst experience with the nurse? Have you ever had one?
I haven't had a terrible experience with a nurse. I've always seen
They've
nurses,
always been nice.
I've always seen nurses as being, really lovely people, even though I haven't spent so much time in a hospital before.
Probably, maybe you're Israel. So when they see you, they're
well,
like,
I haven't always been Israel. So yeah, but on the other hand, have you ever considered being a nurse yourself?
No. My mom actually wanted me to be a nurse.
Because you will make a wonderful nurse.
Yes, but you see, one thing I can't stand is blood.
It's blood, yeah.
And that's what's deterred me from the profession. It's a sweet profession, but I can't stand it.
So if we can get to deal with your fear of blood, you'd love to go back to the hospital?
I love to treat people, especially children. Maybe I'll work at the children's hospital.
It's obvious the way you handle us in the office.
Oh,
you treat us so lovely. And,
okay,
you make a fine.
But you see, I had an experience. It wasn't actually me. My friend was sick, and then we took her to the hospital. And imagine what somebody who had a tummy upset, and she was so weak. They put the thermometer under the armpit, and she's like, "Raise your hand."
No.
If you don't raise your hand, if the thing breaks, you pay.
Oh no!
My goodness, it was bad. But there are a lot of nurses who are.
You wouldn't do that. I mean, you wouldn't.
I don't think
let's
so.
Let's get on to Facebook and get to read some of the comments there. International Nurses Day is a day celebrated around the world on May 12th, or featured to mark the contributions nurses make to society. So we asked you to share with us your experiences, and let's see. Katie Wonder says, I remember going to the hospital at dawn around 4:34 a.m. at Nkoko Holy Family Hospital. My crisis had come again and was having joint, waist and rib pains. Woke up, the nurse at the emergency ward. She chuckled because she was fast asleep. Gave me one diclo injection, and if you can expand that for me, and told me to wait outside in the cold for the doctor to come and see me at 8 a.m. It was so sad. I was like an orphan that dawn. Went back home, and my wife took me to a TB hospital, which where I was admitted. I thank them every day. And Thomas says, what is very painful is that how can a community health nurse who is trained for 2 years and do his national service for 1 year take the same salary with a laboratory technician who's trained for only 2 months? What kind of a country are we living in? And Nantuman says, a few I met were actually nurses. Amadou says, our nurses are actually doing their best in this country, taking into consideration remuneration. Shiftman says, oh, the Ghanaian nurse had to go through hell before being posted. Prince says, I blame Mama for the corruption in government. Okay, we're talking about nurses, right? Larry Razak says, the one I met, she was great and beautiful. I even fell in love with her.
Oh my goodness. Larry, a bad boy.
He's not a bad boy.
When the person is administering medication, instead of you looking straight into her eyes, he's rather looking elsewhere.
He fell in love. Okay, Anthony says, don't mind them. They're so pompous. And Faubo says, just want to ask if the money they have been charging before laying bed for admitted patients are authorized. They are a great work anyway. Josephine says, Benny Siabwa, my personal nurse. Oh, people have personal nurses. I mean,
them.
Yeah, if you were a nurse, you will be my personal nurse.
Hey, sure. Okay, so we'll be taking your WhatsApp comments. Do we still have more comments on Facebook? If not, we'll move on to the next story, but we'll bring you the comments on WhatsApp on this particular issue. But you see, after all the noise and revelations about police recruitment and scams, perhaps the Ghana Police Service has a new strategy to deal with that canker. They are now recruiting people online. But the bigger question remains whether that will be able to deal with the police recruitment scams. We start from the street.
Online program I believe has been structured by the police service to aid them also pick the people they are trying to apply for. So I believe they have put down a system which they want to follow to curb down the scam and everything that's been happening. I've applied for the military before, and then with the military they also did the same. You have to buy a voucher for your application form online, and they'll give you a code that you use.
Formally, with the hand in hand, people are able to fraud lots of the people who want to get into the police service. So I think online is the best way, because that one you only have to buy a scratch card after you just put things online, and then that's it. So if they are now being online, I think that's the best thing.
I believe in a way.
How?
It can curb it, but since it's now internet based, assessing it will be okay, will be easy for people to get to it. And much more, you're not going to, it's not that you're going to meet somebody one-on-one to talk to before you get the form, but now you have to walk and buy, get to the internet, you get me, and then register yourself. But the disadvantage I think it has is that maybe those who are at the outskirts, who don't have internet facilities and who want to get into the police service, are going to have difficulties in getting into it.
Now you are going to take out the human face. You don't know the person you're dealing with, and the system that have put in place, I'm sure, will take off their age and that. So there's no consideration for whom I know, whom you don't know. That one aside, there's nobody that can say, oh, I can help you, so give me some money so I can fix you somewhere. This one, you are dealing with a system. Both will come with a challenge, but it is better than the first one they are doing, the paper one.
Okay, so let me take some of your comments. Papa Teiko from Koforigia says, okay, this one is coming from Bambakia Summit from Fumbisi. He says, Aisha, I wonder if the nurses have a code of conduct. Most of them are extremely rude and merciless. I once sent my sister to the hospital. Guess what happened? The nurse on duty didn't do as if she saw us, as she was busy on her mobile phone. This is from Bambakia, but there are some nice nurses. And this one is coming from Ataku Douglas from Odumas. He says, nurses contribute a lot to Ghana's health delivery system. However, some of them are real killers. This is from Ataku Douglas. And this one is saying that nurses, okay, says, what happened to Timbila? Okay, this one is talking about the police scam. He says, what happened to Timberless 419 scam? First, people run into teaching and nursing professions because the job is ready when they complete, but now they complete and stay home. That is why people are rushing for the police form. God help Ghana. This is from Martina. Martina, what is this analysis coming from? And this is from Papa Teko from Kofor. They say, some nurses are doing very well because they see it as a calling. Others are very petty and have no passion for the work they do. They are there just for money. God bless caring and wonderful nurses. And this is coming from Papa Teko. This one says, it's good to be good to your patients. Some patients are appropriative. Some patients don't have heart at all. When you try to be nice to them, they do their own thing. You keep on saying one thing like 100 times. God continue to bless nurses. And this coming also from Martina. Felix Amu says, for now, online is okay, but later it will become... And this is coming from Felix Amu. This one is saying that, oh, God bless all nurses in this country. Our actual salaries is in heaven. We even work more than the doctors. Is that true? I don't think so. Maybe you work, you support each other, and you save our lives. That's from Cornelius. Izzy, what are we having on Facebook?
All right, so let's see what's on Facebook. Police recruitment queue at the GCB. And David says, what did I hear them saying? That there will be no connection. When you fill the form online, it goes to a central point or server, and there will always be a person working on the server, and they will surely have a protocol list from above. A way to raise money for themselves. Look at how people are rushing to get them. The police services should rather recruit graduate unemployed, a way to reduce unemployment. And Thomas says the sad thing is that people go to queue by 4 a.m. until 5 p.m. in an empty stomach, and after struggling to buy the form and applying, they are not even shortlisted for interviews because all the chances are going out to protocol. God save Mother Ghana. TZ says they said the police is corrupt. You're seeing people troop to buy those cards. Hypocrisies. Oh my God, Ghanaians. Leonard Grant says, why are they selling the forms to people who are unemployed and looking for work? Will they end up losing their money if they don't get picked? KD Wonder says, you can smell unemployment on the youth of Ghana, both literates and semi-literates. Ghana is totally doomed. No wonder robbers are like flies in our midst. And Tarege says, from Bogatanga, I'm sure they are not just buying for fun. For all you know, by now, protocol alone is about 80% of the total number of forms sold out. People are really expressing their views there regarding this. But the person raises an interesting point. They're saying that it costs 100 cedis to get the e-voucher.
Right.
And we're told that, as of this afternoon that I checked, we had about 10,000 people who have gone for the e-vouchers already. So
wow.
10,000 times 100, you're having, what, 1 million cedis for the Ghana Police Service just like that in 2 days.
That. And how many people are supposed to be shortlisted?
Well, I don't know how many people are going to be shortlisted, but
I'm sure not even a half of those who bought the form.
Yeah, I'm sure probably looking for about 500 people.
Oh my goodness. So we'll take a break on Join News Interactive. We'll be back with more. Your comments are very interesting, but time will not allow me to pick all. Probably tomorrow we'll talk about some of your comments and we'll talk about all of them. Now time to take our trending picture. Is this a typo mistake?
No comments.
Or it was
okay, so
actually
why? You're not too sure. It could be for, various reasons. It could be that the person is used to saying, the person has an R and L problem, and so decided that, okay, instead of election, wrote erection. It could also be that the person simply doesn't know. But erection of Ghana West Presbytery.
It doesn't really make it.
I'm sure what they wanted to say, election. I'm sure they wanted to say.
Election. No.
Oh, and it shows later on, really huge. Erection service. I'm not sure exactly what they're looking for.
Exactly. I'm so confused. It's not. It's quite ambiguous.
Is it election they wanted to?
Or they want to erect some billboards. No comments, and that's where we part company. Can't wait to see you same time tomorrow. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Bye bye.
All right, thank you.